Today's story was written by Reddit user New Delivery 6734. We should have never accepted this thing called money. There had never been a need for it, for our commune had been built upon a simple principle: one for all for one. Everything belonged to the greater whole. Through our efforts, the commune grew, and so grew the ways with which we'd lived our lives. Those were the times we'd thought nothing of ourselves. Self. Such an interesting word. We would later learn this word from humans. To excel, to rise above the others, to become an object of admiration. In some ways, these things had seemed scarcely of any worth to us. After all, breaking the commune's order would be the end of one's life, the only gift we'd come to cherish as our own. Then those humans came. They had flashing lights and grand creations of pure majesty, the so-called ships flocking to the empty space below our three gods. And their skin was a mixture of colours we knew nothing of, creasing around the edges and flapping with the wind as they moved. We saw the silence of our celestial gods as a sign. We'd thought that if they'd allowed these creatures on our lands, then there must have been a reason for it. And surely so, they'd come bearing good intentions. Just some curious folk. That's who they were. We'd met with many other races before, and they'd all left us here on our own once they understood these lands were bare, broken and shattered thousands of years in the past. That would be the case with these humans, or so I thought. But I've been proven wrong. The humans were of a different mind. They didn't have any expectations from the land. Rather, they were here to meet with us, to learn our ways, to understand our way of thinking. They'd even proposed a sharing of both cultures, in hopes to strengthen this newly established bond between races. Somehow, maybe enchanted by their manner of speaking, or impressed by their display of unity, we accepted. Thus, started our relations with them, and years gone by, and so many things changed. 20 years passed after the first group of our people had gone to Earth, and when they returned, they did so carrying a great deal of new information. They'd said the Earth has many colours, that it thrived with millions of such humans, each working hard just like us. They had grand buildings high enough to touch the clouds, roads of such proportions that linked their cities together, trains and cars, ships and boats, and so many other things. But one thing stood out to us. These humans acted with merit in their minds. Merit in the sense that if you were to work harder, you'd get better results. You'd be rewarded as a great member of your community, thus earning more of the thing they called money that had the power to change your life in many different ways. Our wise elders thought using this practice could enable us to reach higher, just like humans. But we didn't have anything of worth to give as rewards, and lacked their intricate way of circulating these merits. All of our people lived the same way of life. At that time, the humans come up to us with a proposal. We were to use their currencies, an already established and working system with which we can also get humanity things should we want to do so, and they'd be happy to supply us with enough money of our own. This would be a turning point for our commune, and not a good one. The merit system started right after humans established markets to provide us with places to spend our money. These markets had food, clothes to cover our bare skin, tools to play with, and things that could be used to listen to others' voices. The plan was set and everything was ready, but there came another question to our elders' mind. There wasn't any other work to be done other than the work of our daily lives. We could clean ourselves and our shelters, and sing and dance together, but we'd been doing these things as long as we can remember, and we weren't sure if there was a way to do these things any harder. Then, as always, humans helped us again. They built these factories that could house thousands of our kind, and inside these buildings was always more work to be done. We were excited, we were hopeful. We were to work, earn money and spend it to buy good things, different things, things that we knew nothing about, but now learned that were glorious, full of promises, shined brightly and smelled heavenly. And we did work, hard, to the point that some of our great workers refused to sleep at night, and in return they earned wages we couldn't hope to earn, and with their money bought all the things we could only dream about. The rewards changed over time. The humans came up with bigger promises. Beds, they told us, soft things to lay upon, and even screens to watch other people's lives, and books to read and scripts to learn. There were so many things one could get that I've spent many nights dreaming about the future, how bright it was. But it slowly became clear to us that only a small part of our people had the ability to keep up with the harsh conditions. Many others, like me, were left behind, then got sick, and we had to lay in waiting, but in doing so we're deprived of our chances of earning money. No, the humans said to us sick folk, there's another way. There's another way to get money. In fact, so much more that you can buy a whole building, just like the Bagcar Hill the hardest. Bagcar Hill was the hardest worker, and he became a chief to watch over the ones doing the hard work. He earned many dollars, and he had his own building, the only 3-story house in our commune. To be like him was everybody's dream, and I wasn't an exception. So I was intrigued by their words and went to the place they'd just opened with the little money I had in my pockets. Bright flashes of light made me blind, but I strove to keep my eyes open. They had colourful drinks here and things to eat, and the humans told us that they would be free if we were to participate in their games. I'd gladly accepted and sat upon a cushioned chair before a big wheel painted with the colours of red and black, and a soul green. It didn't take much time for me to learn the rules, and I swiftly changed my money into the round things called chips. They came in different colours, and I gave my year-long fruit of labour, which was $100, to get 10 blue ones. So I sat upon the chair again, and the human behind the wheel asked me to pick a number. I was the 14th son of my mother, therefore I chose the number 14, putting a chip on the board before me, and the human rolled the little ball. It moved in circles as I watched in pure amazement, and it bounced off the number 0 to lodge deep into the number 14. "Number 14 wins," said the man with a thick voice. "Congratulations, sir. You win." My heart thumped in my chest. A shiver shook me from the toes to the back. As I reached for the tens of blue chips, the man lay on top of my own chip. In just a second, I'd won 3 years' worth of money without breaking a sweat. It was glorious. I'd heard a voice, back then, coming from deep inside me, a calling that had told me to walk away. But I didn't. There was money to be made here, and food, too, kept coming to the table after my first round, and drinks so gorgeously painted that I couldn't help but drink them one after the other. At the end of the night, I returned to my humble residence, pockets heavy with $2,000, and I remember I couldn't sleep that night. Though my stomach was full and my mind was foggy, my fingers trembled without the touch of those chips. "I will play again," I remember I'd said. I'd hoped to earn thousands more from that place before getting my own building. But things didn't go the way I'd planned.